Hey everybody, my equipment came in, because I'm a basic Amazon shopper. I got a camera, an 18-inch ring light, the stand, a Shure mic, which I paid $250 for because I watch other people's content and I enjoy. And the ones with the cheapy mics is very hard to hear. That's why I bought this little thing for the car. And I tested out the mic yesterday. A long time ago when I first started, I had did a video in my house using the camera from my laptop and the mic from my laptop, and it sounded terrible. Um, Apologies for y'all who watched it. I tested the mic and it's so clear. Um, in my research, there is the P, like when you say P. So I have a pop filter coming. It's supposed to filter the air when you say P words. But it all came in. It all sounded good. I haven't tried the camera yet because I was charging the batteries. The laptop camera is terrible, y'all. But I spent $1,000 on the laptop. Um, yeah, I don't think they put the money in the camera, but that's okay. I don't really like the view from the laptop anyway. Too much chin. So I got a camera and a stand that's gonna be nice and high, so y'all can look at me like this and not like that. So very excited about that. Did a little 2-minute interview with baby B. That's the boy out of the set of the twins. Baby A was fast asleep and pretty much slept the whole night. She's probably having a growth spurt. Anybody with toddlers or young kids, when they have all this sleeping and all this eating, they be like 2 centimeters taller the next day. But anywho, I want to talk about a topic that I saw on Miss Funky Dineva's page. I'm going to give you credit because that's what I do. I borrow, I don't steal. Talked about white women's goal when they go to college versus black women's goals when they go to college. And I'm going to talk about both experiences. I went to college locally. I did not go away. However, I worked full-time jobs the entire time. Full-time jobs the entire time going to college. I think, no. My first year, I had part-time work, but it was 30 hours. So it was pretty much full-time work. Like, I was in a union and everything. I did security at another college, not the college I was going to. And when I started college, fresh out of high school, I was working at McDonald's, but that was also 30 hours. They pretty much gave you just under the cusp of full time when you're at these jobs. But then less than a year into that, I got a full-time job as the front desk receptionist secretary at the college I went to. I transferred, no, sorry, I got hired at another college. I transferred to the college I was working at so I could go for free because full-time employees went to school for free. So why pay when I could go to school for free? And that's where I graduated from, debt-free. Thank you. That's another option. Go get a job at the college that offers free education to their full-time employees. Even the porter. I'm still friends with the porter on Facebook. He and his pappy work there, cleaning toilets to get degrees. That's what you're supposed to do. And quiet as it's kept, to Funky Dineva, a lot of these places your kids go for free. So there was a woman there with 6 kids. I remember she had all the degrees for her 6 kids and her husband. So that's what you do. There is an accident. Look at this, y'all. Can y'all see that? That is terrible. So, do white teenagers who graduate from high school are they taught or groomed to get MRS degrees, whereas Black women are groomed to go to college, get a degree, graduate, get a good job, yada, 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 bing, bang, boom, get a career, da, 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 da. And hopefully along this path, you will find a husband and have children. Only once your career has been established and is active. Whereas white women are groomed to go to college to find a husband, to then get the degree, not use it because you are now a wife and a mother, and pretty much Mona Lisa smiles, which is nothing wrong with it, because that is the goal of some women, is to be a wife and a mother, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Quiet as it's kept, I think y'all work harder than us career girls. I think y'all work harder. Stay at home mother, it ain't no joke. I was a stay at home mom for 3 months, and I was itching the palms of my hands to go back into the office and go back to being a career woman, because staying home with my twins was intense. But anyway, that is the goal of some women, is to grow up and be a mom and be a housewife and be PTA president and dress and rest and be and your man be the provider and the protector, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know, I say I'm a big fat juicy feminist, but I'm all about choices, and I think if you're a woman and that is your choice to do, then that is fine. If you're forced to do that, then that's different. But if that is what you strive to do, you play with baby dolls, that is what you wanted to do, there is nothing wrong with that. But I think it's amazing to have this passed down. I don't know. I don't live in white spaces. Please, if you're a subscriber and you're of the Caucasian race and you went to college and found your husband and you pretty much got your MRS degree in college, is that something that you're taught? Or is it something that you see? Your mom did that. Your grandma did that. That is just something innately that you know. That you go to college, you find your husband, you get your degree in, I don't know, education or something generalized. Liberal arts. He goes and gets his engineering degree and continues on to get his master's, and now he's 22 years old making $100,000 a year. You guys live in the suburbs. You have your first child at 24. He's working in Manhattan or working at Wall Street and taking the Metro North down or the Long Island Railroad into the city to make the big dollars. And you're at home with the children, making children, continue to make children, take them to school, soccer practice, da 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 da. And he schleps into the city, and you guys do that for 40, 50 years, and your marriage lasts, if that's the case. Or if not, he cheats on you with his secretary, you get a divorce, but you take him to the fucking cleaners and you get the house, and then you work on your second marriage. Like, is that what you see? Or are you sat down and told to do that? Because I don't know. That is what happened to my husband, except the fact that he didn't marry her. She ended up breaking up with him, but he coupled up in college with a white woman, and they were together for, I don't know, I think 7+ years, 7-8 years. But the trajectory was, you partnered up in college and you were on the track to get married. And he also has other friends who I know them through him, the most beautifulest couple I have ever seen. I'm talking about the love for each other, the support they give to each other, coupled up in college. Still married, coupled up in college. Another friend group, coupled up in college. People that I've worked with, Teachers who are married, coupled up in college. But and the majority of them are white women who have coupled up in college. My coworker's son coupled up in college. Met in college. The daughter met in college. Only one of her kids met her spouse outside of the college, but they coupled up in college. Now, I feel like this is more prevalent in a going away school where you live on campus. Because I think if you go to school locally, you don't live on campus, you go back to your respective neighborhoods, you have access to other people, you're not in this confined environment where you have constant interaction with the same people to establish meaningful relationships without uh, exposure to the outside world. So you're kind of in a bubble when you go away to school, and you're in the bubble with the same people consistently for 4 years. You might go back home for the Thanksgiving and Christmas, and you might hook up with your whatever or not, because you are coupled up. So then you go back to your couple, your person's family, and then you spend the holidays with them, or they spend the holidays with you. But I think when you don't go away to college like me, you don't have consistent access to these people. Also, I worked, which means I took classes at night. When you take night classes, you are really not taking classes with 18 and 19-year-olds. You are taking classes with the adult learners. You are taking classes with the grown-ups who are in their late 20s, early 30s, maybe even 40s. There's not a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds taking night classes. So I also was not finding of a spouse in that area. Also, you kind of get drawn to your likeness. When I first went to college, I was in a nursing program, so it was all females and gay Filipino men. That literally was my Hunter College nursing program first semester. All women, gay Filipino men. That was the markup of the nurses. So there was no mates in there for me. Um, and I took classes with them. We had lunch, and then we left. We didn't hang out in the same circles. They went back to their neighborhoods. I went back to mine. But I think if I went away to college and I was in a nursing program with the same demographic of all females and gay Filipino males, I'm also on a campus and have interaction with other people. I might join a sorority and be invited to fraternity parties where I could have access to men. Or I'm eating this in the same mess hall. What do y'all call it in college? Or we do clubs or groups. Or we go to parties, we see each other, we're walking on campus, we see each other, have access to men. I think if I went away to college, I would have been coupled up. I would have definitely been coupled up, and I probably would have continued a relationship and gotten married. But I wasn't told that. Like, my mother didn't sit me down and do that, because I did not. If I think I went away to college, I would have went away to college to find myself, and education would have been secondary for me. And that goes to the next topic of, is the concept of college dying off? Now, I will always be a proponent for college, because I don't think you are an adult when you graduate from high school. There is that growth period I believe is necessary to develop. So yes, you are technically grown. Legally, you are grown, although you cannot take a drink. You can smoke a cigarette and go to war and die for your country, but you cannot take a drink until you're 21, right? And if you go to school at 18 and you stay on track for 4 years, you leave at 22, a, f- a full adult, right? No restrictions. You can rent a car, but you're going to pay the premium until you're 26. You're still a liability because you're not really all the way there yet, right? But I don't think you are mentally capable of being thrown into adult spaces at 18 years old and have the mental concept or clarity to hold your own in adult spaces, even at entry level. So I think that 4 year buffer is needed to mold you and mold you by way of finding yourself, getting your niche, um finding your likes and dislikes, making mistakes that aren't going to be detrimental as far as I don't know, just living your life and making mistakes and not like that will land you in jail. Finding yourself pretty much. I did explorativeness, but it took me a decade because I think everything is concentrated when you go to school. So you can achieve that in 4 years if you're in this proverbial bubble. But when you go away to school, I mean, when you stay at home and you don't go away to school, it takes longer. So I think the finding yourself portion can be done in 4 years. Whereas if you stay at home and you don't have that concentrated access, it takes longer. So I think there's something that needs to be done or something that you need to do once you graduate high school and before you get thrown into the real world. And I think that's where college comes in. But, and also college is needed if you're going to do a technical job. For example, you want to be a doctor, you need to go to college. You want to be a lawyer, you got to go to college. You want to be an engineer and an architect, yes. But like many of us who went to college and got these degrees, art, psychology, history, foreign languages, we got out of college and we got jobs at non for profits where you don't use your degree because these are bachelor's degrees, or you work for Con Edison, or you're at FedEx or UPS, or you're working in group homes, or you went into public service jobs, police, fire, government worker, or you became uh, um, a civil servant, let's just say that, where you don't need a degree. You could have just taken the civil service testing exams. The degree help you get time served, pretty much. The job I had now, you need 10 years of experience, and you could substitute every year for education, right? So I didn't have that much time. I used my degree to get the time, my degree and my certificate to get the time. So that's pretty much what it was for. I'm fortunate enough to have gotten a degree and not be riddled in debt. My husband was not so lucky. After him working 15 years in non-for-profit, we finally was able to do the loan forgiveness for doing service work. But that's only because during COVID, we were able to convert his private loan into a federal loan. But if it wasn't for COVID, we would still be paying. And it wasn't even all of it. It was like, I think you only get like $7,000, um, or 10,000 out of the tens of thousands of dollars he had in debt to get a 4 year degree. But um, I don't think it's worth it to go to a private institution and be left with $150,000 in debt or more for bachelor's degrees where a bunch of these companies are saying you no longer need it. I think if you want to go away to school, I think you if you agree that you have to find yourself and you're 18 and you're really not that mature yet, go away to school. But you don't have to go to a PWI. You can go to your local state school and go away. I live in New York. You can go to SUNY. You can go, if you live in New York City, you could go to SUNY Albany. You could go to Binghamton. You can go to Stony Brook. You can go on Long Island. But you don't have to graduate already in debt. And I mean, when I came out of college, my first real job was paying $16 an hour with a bachelor's degree required. I think now, like, you might graduate, you got $150,000 in debt. You might be making $20 an hour, maybe 45,000 a year. That's not enough to pay it back. Why be riddled in all that debt for a degree now? If you if you get accepted into these schools and you get a scholarship or whatever, that's different, right? Go. But I'm in agreement with the trajectory of college being obsolete. The smartest people I know did not go to a 4-year institution because college helps you develop critical thinking skills. Yeah, before the internet, that was your access to information. Information was not easily available or at your fingertips. You went to college to learn how to think and to get access to information, but it's on the internet. Literally every college course, down to medical, surgical, everything is accessible on the internet. You can literally learn how to fly a plane on the internet. You can learn how to play the piano on the internet. You can learn how to do dentistry on the internet. The only difference is if you don't pay an institution that could validate your education and test it without bias and make sure you are ready and able to perform these duties, then you cannot practice what you learn. But you can learn it. But before the internet, if you wanted to learn how to do something, you had to go to an institution to do it. So no, I don't think you need college anymore, except for the professions that I told you, right? The professions that I told you. I don't think you need to go to college to be a teacher. I do not. I think the only requirement to be a teacher is to be over 26. That's what I think. Like I don't think you need to be, and that's for middle school grade. I think if you teach in kindergarten, you could come right out of high school. I think 18-year-olds teaching kindergarten is a very good idea. They're fun. They got energy. You need that that new blood life to handle a bunch of 4 and 5-year-olds in kindergarten. But I don't think you need to go to college to teach history to school to kids, because all the teachers that I talk to, the majority of their teaching styles and everything they learn while on the job dealing with their mentor, getting evaluations from their principal. All the psychology, early childhood development stuff they need, you can do that while you're teaching. You can sign up for some classes, like just like defensive driving online. Do you need to sit down for 4 years in an institution and then another 2 years to get a master's degree and then get your certifications to teach fucking colors? Now, I don't know if that's all the states, but I know in New York, you need a master's and a teaching license to teach kindergarten. I don't think that's necessary. I'm just saying. So, um, but back to my original topic, the train went off the track. Are white women taught to go to college to become a missus, and black women are taught to go to college for elevation by way of their own blood, sweat, and tears? Whereas white women say, you find a man to take care of you so you could be a wife and a mother.